Am I the a-hole for refusing to share a bed with a male friend for weeks? I, female, am going on vacation with 5 of my friends. We want to rent a whole house together. 4 of them are in a relationship, so they will have 2 rooms as a couple. So there is me and the male friend left. Of course, it would be way cheaper if we slept in a room together and would not have to rent a 4-bedroom house. I've shared a bed with him before during a short vacation and he's a good friend, but this time I insisted on having my own room. I'm going to spend $1,600 on a 2-week-long vacation. I'm honestly sick to always have to share a bed with someone I'm not in a relationship with or sleep on the couch during vacation, just because I don't have a partner. I know he doesn't have any intentions to make a move on me. I just want to have some space for myself to relax and not having to worry about another person in my room, changing clothes, different sleeping schedules, during my vacation. I even offered to pay extra for having a room to myself. The problem is, he can't afford paying extra. Am I the a-hole for still insisting on having my own bedroom? Since there are still questions left, going to try to explain it better. Renting a 3-bedroom house equals 2 people per room. So we divide the costs equally. Me having a single room means my friend will have a single room too. So let's say the costs increase by $600. For me, it would be fair to divide the costs between us 2, so each of us has to pay $300 more. The problem is he can't afford the plus $300. So I'd have to cover the difference alone while we both have an upgrade, and I'm wondering if that's fair. It just feels like I have to pay more to have the same comfortable holiday as the couples, just because I'm not in a relationship.
Not the a-hole. There's nothing wrong with wanting privacy on your vacation. To be honest, I'm not really comfortable sleeping in the same room with someone else, let alone the same bed. Even when it's a friend. If he can't afford to pay extra, maybe he'd be okay sleeping in a couch or a mattress on the living room. Or maybe he shouldn't go to the vacation at all.
I think this would be a really good solution. He pays less and you respectively more, and the whole group doesn't have to find a new house.
Not the a-hole as long as you offered to pay extra per room. And if the couple friends are not happy about that solution, then maybe take the total and divide it per person instead of per room. So everyone pays an equal amount. We have done that before in friends groups as to not put single friends at a disadvantage.
This is how it should be done. You're renting a whole house, not rooms, so the cost should be divided over the number of people.
Not the a-hole. Honestly, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, then definitely get your own room. You shouldn't feel you have to share a very personal space just because someone can't afford it. Never compromise on your own well-being and security.
Update. Surprisingly, we found someone who will go on this trip as well and will share a room with him, so I have a spare room for myself. So we need to have 4 rooms anyway. I offered to pay a bit more as I am the only person sleeping alone, and I guess that's a fair solution for everyone. Thanks everyone for your answers. I will keep them in mind if the problem arises again in the future.
Am I the a-hole for canceling our apartment signing after I found out that my boyfriend bought an expensive car? My boyfriend, 31 male, and I, 28 female, have been together for just over 2 years. We have been living with roommates and been looking to move in for a while. It's expensive and I have a dog, so it's been difficult finding a landlord that would be okay with a dog. My friend has been moving out and she has a dog too and is willing to sublet for us. The landlord said they're okay with signing us if we want to stay after the 8-month sublet. It's a fairly good price near work, so I'm happy with it. We went through the credit check and we are about to sign it, but recently I discovered that my boyfriend bought another car. He already has a daily driver, but wants a weekend car, which I personally find ridiculous why anyone needs 2 cars. He has a Honda Accord that is fine and he has never complained about problems with it. But he recently said he bought another car. He isn't the best with money. He really likes to spend till the last dollar and doesn't have any savings. I've had to bail him out twice on rent. We both pay around $1,100 plus utilities, and he makes around $70K a year, so he should have savings, but he doesn't. He paid me back, but it was months later than we agreed on. So I wasn't really happy that he did that, but I didn't realize he bought such an expensive car. He didn't show it to me until when he picked me up in a Corvette. I don't know what model it is, but I asked him how much it was, and he said it wasn't my business, and I was pissed off he bought a clearly expensive car. He admitted later because I refused to let it go it was $42,000 and he had traded in the Honda. Even then his payments are almost $800 a month. I was so mad he did that, especially because he asked me to cover part of his share of the apartment security deposit a week before he bought the car. I called my friend and apologized and told her I can't sign the lease, and she said she was okay with it. I hadn't paid the deposit yet, thankfully, and my roommate is okay with me staying, so I'm good. But my boyfriend lease is ending and the landlord wants him out, so he is mad at me canceling us moving in together because now he still needs to move and will probably be paying more than if we moved in together. He yelled at me for butting in on his business, saying it's not my business what he buys. I think that's fair, but he also doesn't have any money and bought an expensive car, so if anything goes wrong, I have to pay his share of rent.
Not the a-hole. He hasn't paid you back for the times you've had to cover his rent, but it's not your business that he buys himself a Corvette? Why keep dating this man? You clearly can't trust him.
He paid me back, but he said he would pay me as soon as payday comes around, and he didn't pay me back fully until months after I lent him the money. We are compatible if not for the finances, and I guess I'm hoping he will change on that so we can still be together. I know it's not likely, but I guess I don't want to break up because of money. But I'm not willing to move in until he changes.
Word of caution in that people rarely change their behavior with money. It was smart of you to hold off on moving into a new place with him, but stick to your position when it comes to spending habits. I'm a big believer that in most healthy relationships, money between partners is seen as a communal joint resource as time goes on and big purchases are made by consensus.
Money is something that breaks up relationships. It's clear the two of you are incompatible in your attitudes towards money. You think he should save. He thinks money is for spending. He's blurry about the lines between your money and his money, or he wouldn't have asked you to cover for him while not mentioning he was buying an expensive car. It's a good call to not move in with him. Not the a-hole.
Not the a-hole. Red flags. Just under $800 car payment. Who knows how much for insurance and maintenance, and he only earns $70,000. Is that net or gross? He couldn't afford the rent on that apartment. You did the right thing to walk away from being trapped in an apartment rental with him.
Not the a-hole. He clearly cannot be trusted with finances, so why would you want to progress to a point of cohabitation? Finances are definitely our shared business when you cohabit as a couple, and while you don't need to sign off on every purchase of his, you definitely need to know if he's planning to leave you to carry all the financial burden. Don't move in with him yet. See if he can mature a bit more before you end up endlessly bailing him out for his poor financial decisions.
At what point do we agree that a 31-year-old man with a spending problem, no savings, and needs to be bailed out may not mature? Not the a-hole.
Personally, about 12 years ago.
Am I the a-hole for telling my mom not to ever invite her friends again for ruining my birthday party? I, 18 female, recently had my birthday. At first, I was just going to have lunch with my friends at a restaurant. But my parents insisted on joining us and celebrating it together with us. Even though we were going to celebrate at home as a family anyway. I didn't mind and told them I'd be happy to have everyone together at the party. It was all going well until my mom told me she also invited her friends to my birthday party. I didn't want them there because I didn't know them well enough and it was just supposed to be people close to me. But she was stubborn about inviting them, so I suggested that we could have two timings. One for my mom's guests and the other for my friends. She agreed to it and it was settled that we will invite her guests at 12 p.m. while my friends would be there at 2 p.m. This way, I could spend enough time with my friends and also give enough time to the other guests. On the day of the party, none of my mom's guests arrived on time. And only by the time all my friends were there, did they start arriving. I was a bit annoyed but didn't say anything. One of the guests' daughter, around 6 years old, wouldn't leave me alone. She clung to me the entire time. Her parents insisted on having her cut my cake. I let her do it since she was just a kid who probably wanted to do it for fun. But then, she started smashing the cake with her bare hands, wiping her snot on the new dress I was wearing, which was my birthday gift, and even spat on the food. And her parents, instead of disciplining their kid, stopped the music that my friends and I were playing, and played kids' music so that their daughter could show us her dance. I didn't get to spend a single second with my friends, and by the time they left, everything was a mess. I still kept my cool and thanked everyone, including those parents, for coming to the party. Once everyone left, I started crying and I told Mom how her guests ruined my birthday and that I hoped I never have to see them again. She took it as me blaming her for everything, so she started telling me how ungrateful of a child I am and that I didn't even deserve to have a birthday party. I don't even know what to tell her anymore.
She took it as me blaming her for everything. Well, I mean, her guests did ruin everything. So you wouldn't be wrong if you did. Not the a-hole. Your mom's friend's kid, who should never have been at your party in the first place, was a little monster, and it's completely inappropriate for her to try and seize control of your birthday party.
Thanks a lot. I do not blame the kid though, because I feel like the parents need to be held accountable for not raising their kid well enough.
Not the a-hole. I totally understand. Your mom insisted on her insensitive friends coming and they ruined it for you, and then your mom blames you for it? If this ever happens again, and it shouldn't, remember last time? No thanks. If they show up, I leave, then make sure your friends are there first, and then when your parents' friends show up, you can leave. Hell, I'm surprised you didn't leave with your friends when it was clear your parents' friends were just ruining everything. Kudos on being the more mature person and even thanking them for coming. You can tell your mom that you're very disappointed in her. Not for the party, maybe she didn't realize her friends were crap, but for how she ignored and dismissed your feelings and made it about herself.
Thanks a lot. I am just happy that I can finally go out on my own and don't need my parents' permission. My friends and I are planning on hanging out together soon to make up for the disastrous party, haha.
Not the a-hole, however, I'd caution your approach on this one. I'd take this one as a learning experience that your events will be co-opted by your mom, so plan whatever events you actually want quite separately from your mom. Also, you'll get to learn that people are often late to things, so a 2-hour spacing was never actually going to work out.
Not the a-hole. Your mom actually did ruin your party by inviting her friends in the first place. Your birthday is about you. She needed to make it about her. So she is absolutely to blame.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories.